Thanks for listening to English Go Podcast. To listen without advertisements or to read episode transcripts, visit englishgo.co.uk for more information.
One size fits all seems like a good idea for clothes until you try them on. Same goes for healthcare. That's why United Healthcare offers flexible, budget-friendly coverage for medical, vision, dental, and more. Learn more at uh1.com. Life is full of awesome what-ifs, and some not so much, like unexpected medical costs. That's why United Healthcare provides Health Protector Guard fixed indemnity insurance plans to supplement your primary plan and help manage out-of-pocket costs. Learn more at uh1.com.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Randy.
Since we founded Bombas, we've always said our socks, underwear, and T-shirts are super soft. Any new ideas?
Maybe sublimely soft.
Or disgustingly cozy.
Wait, what?
I got it. Bombas. Absurdly comfortable essentials for yourself
and for those facing homelessness.
Because one purchased equals one donated.
Wow, did we just write an ad?
Yes.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase.
We've had some very nice weather here in Japan recently, and I went for a walk with my wife to a local park. And because the weather was so nice, there were lots of fishermen sitting around a big lake catching fish. And I said I felt sorry for the fish in that lake because I say it's a big lake. It's not the biggest of lakes. It's a decent size. But there are fishermen all the way around it. So the fish that live in there must be constantly getting caught and then thrown back into the lake. And I said, I feel sorry for the fish because, well, it can't be very nice, can it, having like a hook, a metal hook in your mouth. And also I've heard things like it can stress the fish out, and sometimes the stress is so much that it can actually kill the fish. Or, I don't know, like the hook goes into the fish's lip instead of the roof of its mouth, and because of that, like the lip comes off, and all kinds of things, all kinds of problems fish have by being caught by hooks. Now the weird thing is, I actually quite like fishing, and I did a fair amount of fishing when I was younger. I got a fishing rod for free from my uncle when I was I don't know, I was quite young, maybe 11, 12, 13, that sort of age. And I remember for my birthday, I think my parents bought me like a little box to put all my fishing stuff in. Oh, no, it actually had fishing stuff in. I didn't have any fishing stuff. I had a fishing rod, but I think I had this box, and it was like a kit, and it had all hooks and like little weights and all kinds of things in there, and floats and so on. And I also had like a special chair, like a folding chair. So you could carry on your shoulder, and then you could set it up at the edge of a lake or a canal or something, and you could carry all of your fishing stuff in there, and a net as well, a landing net. Anyway, so I went fishing quite a few times when I was younger, and I went with. I think I might have gone alone. I remember going with my father a few times. I might have gone alone once or twice, and I also remember going with my friends quite a few times as well. Now, I'm happy to say that I've never actually caught any fish. I tried, and I haven't caught a single fish ever. I don't know why. I think I had all the right bait, the right food on there for the fish, and I think I was putting like the hook and the bait down at the right depth in the water to catch the fish, and I don't know what I was doing wrong, but like I said, I'm actually not bothered about the fact that I didn't catch a fish, because the thing that I like about fishing actually isn't catching fish. It's the everything else bit about fishing. So like just going somewhere nice and quiet, usually somewhere with lots of nature, trees, grass, water, and just sitting down and just having some time away from things, time to have a break. I really like that. I liked it when I was going fishing with friends, because it just gave us an excuse to go and do something. Let's go fishing. And we'd get out of the house and, go sit somewhere nice, like I just said, and we'd sit there talking. So yeah, it was a fun activity to do, even though I never caught a fish. And towards the end of my sort of like fishing career, I haven't been fishing for ages and ages. So this is going back to when I was, a child or a teenager. Towards the end, like the last time I did it, or last few times I did it, I just stopped putting food. I stopped putting bait on the hook. I stopped putting a hook on as well. So there's no hook, no bait, and just some weights on the end of the line. And I thought it didn't really matter because I never caught a fish before. So and I liked going fishing. So what's the point? What's the point of putting the bait on? And I think I remember like being out with my friends and like casting the fishing rod, so sort of like throwing it over your shoulder, and the line spins out and drops in the water, and that's quite a satisfying sound. I like that sound, like a plop into the water. And my friend said, "Have you got any bait on there? Have you got any food on there for the fish?" I said, "No, don't bother. I never catch anything anyway, so what's the point?" And like I said earlier, I'm quite glad that I didn't catch anything, because I suppose I remember that was one of the things about fishing that I was always a bit unsure about. I always used to think, I don't know what I'm going to do if I catch a fish, because I understood all of the bits about fishing apart from the catching the fish bit. Like I thought, I knew you had this like tool. I think it was called, what was it called? Was it called a degouger or something like? I can't remember. It had a special name, and it was a tool that you put into the fish's mouth, and you sort of pushed it down its throat to get the hook out of its mouth. And I always sort of like hated the idea of that bit. Like, I don't mind looking at fish. I like looking at fish a lot. I like going to an aquarium, or I like having fish in a pond, and seeing those, or fish in a fish tank. That's nice. Well, fish tank's a bit cruel if it's small, but you know what I mean. I like looking at fish, so that's not the problem. And touching fish, I don't really mind that either. They're a bit slimy, they're a bit smelly, but it's not too bad. The thing I didn't like really is, I can imagine like the look on the face of the fish when you're trying to like push this thing into its mouth to try and get the hook out of its mouth, and I don't think it would look very happy. I mean, I should imagine it hurts. I've heard people say like fish don't have any sense on the roof of their mouth, so they can't feel it. I mean, even if it's true, I'm pretty sure the fish is going to be very, very stressed out, isn't it? It's going to be an unpleasant experience for it. So I never quite liked the idea of catching something, and quite thankfully, I never did. So in the end, it was all good. So like I say, I've been fishing quite a few times. I've never caught anything, and I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. For me, fishing is not about the catching fish. It's about the sort of waiting around, waiting around in a sort of nice place, having a nice break from things. Although I'm sure there's like every fisherman will disagree with me, and fishing is most certainly about catching fish. But yeah, I suppose there are many ways that you can enjoy something, aren't there? Actually, speaking of fishing, like getting hooks out of fish's mouths and stuff like that, that was another thing I really didn't like about fishing, the hooks. The hooks always used to scare me a bit, because you get two types of hooks. You get a normal like piece of metal that's bent, and it's sharp on the end, sort of like a pin, and it just goes in and it can come out. But I imagine that type isn't very popular. There's another type of hook, which is called a barbed hook, and a barb is sort of like a sharp. Actually, it's difficult to explain. Like a sort of pointy catch I'm doing a bad job of this. It's shaped. It's got a special shape, right? So that when it goes in to flesh, into, sort of like skin into flesh, it sort of gets stuck in there and it won't come out. So it's like a little upside down V shape. That's a good way of describing it. And you try and pull it out and it just won't come out. And I've always hated that bit, like about fishing. I've always hated how sharp these hooks are and how small they are. And I remember this one time when I was with some friends fishing in a local canal, and I was putting some bait, some food on the end of this hook. And I was always really careful with hooks because I absolutely did not want to get a hook in my finger, because I've heard of lots of people, who get like a hook stuck in their finger, and if it's a barbed hook, whoa, oh no, oh my, I just can't imagine how painful it is getting a barbed hook out of your finger. Like a normal hook would be very, very painful, but a barbed hook, oh no. If you want to have a look, just go on the internet and search barbed hook, and you'll see what I'm on about. It's horrible. So anyway, I was putting this food on the end of this hook, and I don't know how it happened, or because I was like I said, I was always very careful with these kind of things, when I was handling the hooks. But my friend had got the fishing rod, and I don't know if he picked it up and I didn't notice, or if I was doing something stupid and I was trying to put the food on the hook whilst he was holding it. I don't know. I imagine he picked it up and I didn't really notice. I was concentrating on the hook or something. And he was actually about to like cast the fishing rod, to sort of like throw it forward. And I saw him doing this, and he didn't notice that I was like holding the hook still. And he was about to do it, and it would have gone into my finger, like he would have pulled it forward, and this hook would have gone like straight into my finger. And I just managed to shout like stop, just as he was like pushing it forwards, and I sort of like run forwards holding the hook, trying to make it so that it wouldn't go into my finger, and it just ever so slightly went into my skin, but it didn't actually make my finger bleed. So it didn't really go into my skin. I was very, very lucky that time. But that was another thing I really used to hate about fishing, like how sharp those hooks are, and the barbed ones. Oh, just the idea of getting some kind of injury from one of those. I never used to like that. So anyway, my final sort of method of fishing that I invented, the fishing without any hooks or without any bait and just some weights on the end of your line, that was a pretty good style of fishing, no danger from the hooks getting caught in your skin, and the fish are perfectly happy too. So, everyone's happy. Actually, I do remember I didn't just sit there with a fishing rod with no bait and no hook on. I did take like the food, the bait, the food for the fish. I took that with me, and I just used to throw it in the canal and feed the fish. And sometimes you'd see the fish like come up to the surface and like eat the food and then swim away. That's fine, isn't it? That's fun enough. Some people go to the canal or to a lake or a park or something to feed ducks. They'll give bread to ducks just for something to do. And actually, I heard you're not supposed to give bread to ducks, but I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, it was sort of like that, So yeah, quite fun. And actually, I wouldn't really mind doing it again. I'd like to do it in the local park near me, but I think there's lots of fishermen there, and they would know. It would be pretty obvious what I was doing, and I think they'd all look at me like I was crazy. So I'm probably not going to do that. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go fishing again, like my version of fishing someday. Who knows? It's a bit of a waste of money though, because I'd have to actually buy like all of the equipment. I don't have anything over here in Japan, and since I'm definitely not going to be catching fish the way I go fishing, it's sort of like a waste of money, isn't it? So who knows? Maybe if for some reason I get a free fishing rod, then I'll put it to good use and go fishing with it. Put it to good use. That's an interesting phrase, which just means I'll make good use of something. So that one's fairly simple to explain, isn't it? Anyway, until next time, if you fancy having a go at fishing, don't forget, you don't have to catch any fish. The fish will be happier if you don't. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Bye-bye.
Many of us have those stubborn pounds that seem impossible to lose, no matter how good we eat or how hard we work out. My solution is PlushCare. PlushCare is a leading telehealth provider with doctors who are there for you day and night to partner with you in your weight loss journey. They can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound for those who qualify. Plus, they accept most insurance plans. To get started, visit plushcare.com/weightloss. That's plushcare.com/weightloss.
One size fits all seemed like a good idea for clothes.
Nice dress. It's a t-shirt.
Until you tried it on. Same goes for your healthcare. That's why United Healthcare offers a variety of flexible, budget-friendly coverage for medical, vision, dental, and more. So whether you're between jobs, coming off a parent's plan, or even missed open enrollment, you can find the plan that fits you best. Find out more about United Healthcare coverage at UH1.com. That's UH1.com.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's organic cotton sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in these sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off your first order at bollandbranch.com. Code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Whether you're a morning person or a bedtime procrastinator, everyone deserves a mattress that works for their style. And you'll find the best mattress for you at Ashley. The new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley brings you one-of-a-kind body-conforming technology, making every sleep tailored to be your best. The collection also features cool-to-the-touch covers and motion absorption to help minimize sleep disruptions from partners, pets, or kids. Shop the all-new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley, in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.
Thanks for listening until the very end of the show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give my podcast a rating, or if you have the time, write a review. It's a really nice way of letting me know you enjoy these episodes and encourages me to make more of them for you. Thanks very much and have a lovely day.